Vampires, Part 2. Neither Lamia nor Lilith would have recognized the word vampire, nor would they have recognized some other words used to describe their kind, such as revenant. But vampire soon became the word of choice. Regardless of what vampires were called, archaeology shows that living humans took precautions to keep dead humans from rising. Whether it was placing a brick in the mouth of a suspected vampire in 16th century Venice, or spikes in strategic spots of the body on the island of Lesbos in the 19th century, these dead folks were not going to return to harm the living. Vampires caught the attention of the Western world in the 19th century, and Varney the Vampire caused Victorians to shiver, but he was soon overshadowed by a newcomer, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Count Dracula was based on an actual historical figure, Count Vlad Tepes, Count of Wallachia in Transylvania. Stoker chose Vlad because of his bloodthirsty ways. He didn't suck blood, but he shed not only the blood of his enemies, the Turkish Muslims, but also of anyone who crossed him or broke his laws. His nickname, Vlad the Impaler, was aptly bestowed. His reputed castle still stands, a beautiful edifice belying the horror that took place inside and outside its castle walls. Dracula set the rules for vampires that followed for quite some time. Among other rules, his reflection couldn't be seen in a mirror, he could only come out at night, he could be repelled by a cross, crucifix, and garlic, and he could be killed by a stake through his heart. Stoker's novel was published in 1897, and by 1922, the burgeoning movie industry took advantage of its character and plot to scare new audiences. The German movie Nosferatu, the first vampire flick, did just that. Count Orlok in Nosferatu was repulsive, outwardly exhibiting his inward evil. No one could willingly love this vampire, but over the next few decades, the image of the vampire would change from this to this to this. Unless you think that animals do not get involved in the vampire world, I give you Zoltan, Hound of Dracula. As the 20th century progressed, so did the image of the vampire. Bela Lugosi's Dracula made the character mysterious and even attractive, but he still conformed to the old rules. With the advent of Anne Rice's books about vampires, the rules changed, including the old ideas that bloodsuckers are repelled by crosses and that anyone bitten by a vampire automatically becomes one. Now, the bitee has to taste the blood of his or her attacker to change into a vampire. In the 21st century, some twilight vampires have social responsibility, while others remain true to the brutality of Count Orlok. In the TV series True Blood, vampires are finally able to come out of the coffin closet by the invention of artificial blood, though they still crave the blood of humans. You have no idea how difficult it is to be a movie star because regardless of where I sit, it's very difficult to either keep windows or the computer screen from reflecting in my glasses and obscuring my eyes. And for all you know, they could be shiny bright in red, and perhaps I am a creature of the night. That's a very brief history of the vampire up into modern times. And the question remains, why? Why did the myth of the vampire evolve the way that it did? Why did the vampire go from being a grotesque creature to a creature of beauty? What does that say about ancient cultures? And especially, what does it say about our own culture? I have my own ideas. I have my own theories. But at this point, I'm not going to share them with you because I want to know your theories and your ideas. So that's going to wrap it up for the history. And there is going to be one more video. And I'm going to discuss in that some of the other mythic precursors and why the need for blood. And is vampirism based on anything in the real world? So hang on, get ready, and that's coming up next.